Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us this rainy Tuesday late morning. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Spencer Bonney. I am the Executive Director of Achieve Brown County, and this is our monthly chat with Spencer. My featured guest today is Katie Hess. Katie is Executive Director of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northeastern Wisconsin. She also is an Achieve Brown County board member, and Big Brothers Big Sisters has been a longstanding partner to Achieve Brown County for almost as long as Achieve Brown County has existed, if I'm not mistaken, the past 6.5 going on 7 years now. Just a reminder for those of you that are joining us once again, thank you. And for those of us that may be joining us for the first time, the purpose of these Facebook Live sessions is to help all of you in Facebook land better appreciate and understand the work of Achieve Brown County, particularly as it is lived and experienced by our many partners, including the one that we are featuring today, Big Brothers Big Sisters. So I'm going to ask Katie Hess a whole bunch of questions about herself, her role, the work of Big Brothers Big Sisters, and how that directly connects to the work of Achieve Brown County overall. I have no doubt she'll give all of us some great insights and perspectives on that. And we'll wrap up, as we always do, about now 29 minutes from now. Katie, does that sound good to you?
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, once again, Katie, it's great to have you with us today. Thank you so much for making time for this. You and I have known each other for a little bit longer than my time at Achieve Brown County. I think the best place to start our conversation is by asking you, tell us about yourself, how you got to where you are at today in life, personally and professionally. Somewhere before your time with Big Brothers Big Sisters, our paths crossed for the first time, and I think our viewers would love to hear about that as well.
I can remember all that. I'm old. So, okay, where I am today. So actually, I am a Green Bay native, so born and raised here in Green Bay. I did move out of the state just for a little bit, but for the most part, I'm pretty much Green Bay through and through. So I actually have a degree in environmental policy and planning, graduated from UWGB. UWGB, yep. And so worked as an economic development planner through a regional planning commission for a while. And then I started an event management company. So I did that actually for 10 years. So planning events for corporations and for weddings for people. And then this opportunity at Big Brothers Big Sisters came up. And I noticed I was doing a lot of nonprofit work and volunteer work just from my company, just because I love this area. And so it seemed like a really good fit for me with all of the management and everything that I've done with my company to maybe take a bigger role in the community and see what I could do to help Big Brothers Big Sisters in the mentoring organization. And I've been here now for 4.5 years, I believe.
Has it been that long already?
Oh, I think so. I don't know. COVID, who knows? 10 years.
Time flies. And it was when you were an event planner that you and I first met each other. We worked together on a Rotary event, in fact, that you helped to plan for the Greater Green Bay Rotary Club at one point.
Yep.
So you're now Executive Director of Big Brothers Big Sisters. Like you said, have been in that role for 4.5 years. Tell us more about Big Brothers Big Sisters, its work, your role, some of the things that are most important to you and the organization that you lead.
So one of the things that really drew me to this organization was the whole premise that it's about a community and it's a community effort. This is not one group, one organization, one person doing one thing. This is about the entire community getting together and really making an impact on an individual level. And so mentoring does that. And when I was interviewing for the position and I was learning more about the organization, I was astounded at the profound impact that it makes. And I really wanted to do everything that I could to make the agency more known in the community and really let the community understand how vital and how critical mentoring is to our community. And for the most part, we mentor youth. So we have high school students, but primarily grown-ups, adults who mentor children in the community and really set that standard, become role models, show children how important they are and help them achieve their greatest potential. And because community is so important to me, that's kind of one of my big things is how do we bring people together? This organization is a perfect fit for me. And so my role here as executive director is really to manage overall operations, make sure that we have the connections and the partnerships that we need in the community, the funding, the programs, and really the awareness around the programs so that people understand who we are, what we do, and why it's important in the community. I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm really happy to see how much we've grown and where we are today.
I can totally feel the passion that you bring to your role, the work that you do with and for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and everything that you said. It's totally consistent with who I have gotten to know in you over the past couple years, certainly, but even before that, it really does sound like a great fit for you, Katie, and I'm so glad it's worked out as well as it has for now 4.5 years. So in those 4.5 years, what have you learned? What have been some of the highlights for you?
What have I learned? I think it's one of those things where the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. I think it's kind of one of those things. So the more I learned about the impact that we make in the community, the more I realized there's so much more that can be done. There's so many more connections we could be making. We could be serving more kids in more counties. And there's so many different partnerships that we can make to really make mentoring more impactful. And one of the partnerships certainly has been with Achieve Brown County, but the agency itself, through our national office, we've actually been able to extend our services to people up to age 24. And I think what we're realizing is that kids aren't done at 18. I mean, sure, you're technically an adult, but really the support shouldn't end there. And recognizing that children really need more help beyond age 18. And so to be able to expand our services to serve that population, I think is going to be a really big help to kids in our community and to young adults as they move on in their life. I've learned that there's so much more we could be doing as far as being more diverse and culturally inclusive and accepting. You think you've got things down, and then somebody says something or something happens and you realize, oh, we could be doing so much more. And we have so many dedicated community partners. I can't even, the connections and the people that I know in this community who really want to make an impact, the conversations that we have really just, again, open up this whole world of possibilities. And so I've really learned that not only are we doing fantastic, wonderful, amazing things, but there is so much more that can be done. And there's so much more need out there than I really thought. And so the more we work to serve more kids and develop those partnerships and continue to work with the community, I think the better likely we will be to serve more kids and make a more profound impact.
Totally agree with you, Katie. There are a number of truths that you spoke in what you just said. I'm going to pull out two of them, if I may. One is exactly what you were just talking about, the fact that there's so much we can all do together when we come together in the ways that we have come together, both pre-pandemic and during the pandemic, especially for our communities, young people. You and I both know that because of the working relationship that we have, because of how our organization serves and supports your organization in the work that it does. I think that's very, very true. The other thing that really stuck out to me in everything that you just said was the fact that, yes, young people are still young people when they go on to college or go on to study at a university or a community college, or they enter the workforce. Physically, social, emotionally, cognitively, they are still developing into adulthood. So you're absolutely right. The fact that Big Brothers Big Sisters is now serving young people up to age 24, that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And it makes perfect sense relative to how they are continuing to develop up to that age. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that. That's a great thing that has happened as a result of your leadership over the past 4.5 years.
Thank you. Well, and I think it's one of those things too, where you look at where the needs are and you adjust your programming to fit that, right?
Totally.
So something could be going well for a while, and then you realize at some point, okay, this is shifted in the community. How do we shift address that need. So yeah,
Totally.
I agree.
So let's talk about that relative to the year we've just experienced, the year of the pandemic. Really, since a year ago, I believe the 12th of March, if I'm not mistaken, when it was officially declared a pandemic here in the United States. 2020 into 2021 has been a year like any other related to the pandemic, social justice, racial unrest, all the injustices experienced by communities and people of color. How have you and Big Brothers Big Sisters navigated the past 12 months?
How have we navigated? Well,
Loaded question, I know.
slow and steady and cautious. I love all the metaphors that have been going around about, like we're in the same boat, we're not in the same boat, we're in the same waters, but everybody has a different boat. And I like that the metaphor of, we're in the same waters, but some people have their boat determines how they can navigate through this. And so for us, when I think about what our boat looks like, what our boat of safety looks like, I really look to the community. I look to our staff, I look to our board, I look to our volunteers who have really stepped up and said, what do we do? How do we help you navigate through this? Because when this is all done, when the storm passes, our boat still needs to be here. It still needs to be to some degree standing, floating, able to continue moving forward. And so what we've done is we had to adjust our programming a little bit to accommodate virtual meetings. Some matches had to be put on hold due to health concerns and geographic confines. So we had to be very, very cautious as to the needs of every single one of our matches because we're one-to-one mentoring, and every match is going through something different, has experienced something different because of this pandemic, whether it's not being in school, not having a job, having a sick family member, whatever their story is. Every match went through something different, which required a specific and personalized approach to every match. And when you go over 500 matches, it's a lot of work. And not only were we doing the best that we could to keep those matches connected, but we were also helping them navigate through everything else that they had going on. So we were providing additional resources and information about what resources were available. So some of the cohorts through Achia Brown County actually helped us determine what services were available for our families during this pandemic, which was tremendously helpful because we kind of became this support hub where we were doing our check-ins and they would say, well, what do we do about this? Insecurities. It's just so many different things, mental health, what do we do? And so we were able to provide them additional resources as well. So as far as how we were navigating through that, it was one match at a time, frankly.
Yep.
And then with schools being off-site and back on and then intermittent, our site-based program had to do a lot of shifting as well. As far as the social unrest, we established a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. And we've been working on that now since fall of last year. And that's going to be embedded in the culture of Big Brothers Big Sisters just forever. And so I'm really, really excited about that really being something that we've established and will continue to grow as the agency grows as well. We were one of the first nonprofits to sign the declaration that racism is a public health crisis. I'm really proud of that.
Awesome.
And we've got a statement on our website, and we are committed. We are an agency that serves all, not some, all. And we can't have limits when you say all. So we're really serious about that and committed to that. So I'm very proud of that as well. So it's been difficult, but it's also, I think, pushed us to do things faster than maybe we would have before and put a higher priority on some things that unfortunately don't always make that strategic plan. So we're proud of that. Okay. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you should be proud of all of what you just articulated, including the things that you said you didn't say that you were proud of. It's pretty remarkable what you all at Big Brothers Big Sisters have been able to accomplish in the past year, given your model, given all the ways that you had to adapt and adjust. What I heard in all of what you said is that you not only retained your commitment to serving as many young people as possible, but you really doubled down on that. You went all in on serving those young people as much as you possibly could relative to the circumstances in which we all found ourselves.
Yeah.
And that is something to be truly proud of,
Thank you.
Katie.
Well, and it's not even, I mean, and we are a youth serving organization, but the bigs need help too, and the families need help too. So when we were doing the support calls, we were providing a lot of resources to our bigs as well. And
totally
so proud of that. Yeah.
Indeed. Well, let's look ahead because I think if we can say anything about where we're at in the pandemic right now, perhaps we can all say that we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Fingers crossed, right? Yeah. So what does the future hold for Big Brothers Big Sisters and the rest of 2021 and beyond? What are your priorities? What's your vision for that future, and hopefully how you are able to broaden and deepen your impact on young people?
Yeah, great question. So we still have our strategic plan that we're working through. So we have a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, we have some initiatives that had to be delayed because of COVID, surveys and things like that we wanted to take, things that we wanted to analyze. And during a COVID year, we didn't want to use that as a foundation for future planning for the organization. So kind of in looking back at where we've come, just even in the last few years since I've been with the agency, we've really put a priority on being an agency that does well in all areas. And by that, I mean, it's not just the number of children served, but it's how long they stay matched. Mm-hmm. And what are the outcomes? So is that match beneficial to them in these certain markers? Are they, staying in school? Are they getting good grades? Are they avoiding risky behavior? Are they connected with their family? Are they volunteering in the community? All these things. And then it's also, is our agency financially sound so that we can continue to provide these services? So not only are we doing them well and doing more, are we going to be financially sound so we can continue to do these great things in the future? And so we've broken a ton of records in the last few years, which I'm really proud of, based on setting these specific goals. And we won 2 national awards. We were nominated for Board of the Year. We were nominated for Agency of the Year. And again, it's just, we've had such a great team. And so what we would like to do is continue with that. Those markers are still critical to our agency. That really shows us that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Our entire purpose here is to provide quality mentoring to youth. And so that will not change. That will always be what we are about. So we will continue to do that. We will continue to navigate through this pandemic with that focus. As far as additional things that we're going to be working on, certainly the DEI committee is going to continue to be strong and be embedded in our culture. We're focusing a lot more on bringing awareness to mental health and how important things like this mentoring is in the community. It's not just hanging out with somebody. That support system, just listening to somebody, is tremendous for mental health and for getting people through crises and just getting them through day to day and getting kids through school and offsite learning. Just having that sounding board is critical to them getting through things like this, and for the big as well, because when you are faced with uncertainty and you don't know what to do, you don't know how you can help, you've got this one person that you can talk to, this one kid, and you're helping them. And when they talk to you, when they look up to you, you're getting that help too. So these relationships, I think if nothing else, this pandemic has shown us that relationships matter and they're critical, especially in our community, right, Spencer? I mean, we've got such a close-knit community. We need each other. Everybody's just dying to get together and do something. And so we're really hoping that the recruitment efforts that we put in place this year are going to show people that you can make a difference. You don't have to change who you are. You don't have to spend any money. You just need to say, hey, I've got some time. How can I help? and you can make a tremendous impact, and they can make a tremendous impact on your life. So really focusing on that, expanding our services, of course, as they're financially feasible, is always a big thing as well. So we're going to continue to work forward with that. But again, staying the course, and really just keeping our program strong. That's our focus.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love everything that you said in your response, just like I did with your other responses to my questions. But two things in particular really stuck out to me in what you just said. Number one, the magic of the relationship, that it really all comes down to the relationship between the little and the big, and the relationships that we as community members have with each other that really do support that mentoring relationship as well. You and I in our relationship are a model for littles and bigs. You and I as leaders of nonprofit organizations as well are a model for littles and bigs. Our community is, and I 100% agree with you relative to what we've all been through over the past couple of years. Our community is truly founded on the strength of our relationships with each other. And that is not something I feel like you can say about every community. It's something special about Green Bay, Brown County, Northeastern Wisconsin. There's something in the water here that really does.
Don't tell anybody.
The other thing that I really appreciate you pointing out is how much the bigs have to gain from their relationship with the littles. It's not just the bigs helping the littles. It truly is the littles helping the bigs. And I can speak to that as a former big myself many, many years ago, and as a mentor to a lot of young people in my career as well. We learn as adults just as much, if not more, than the young people that we mentor do. And that's something you can't necessarily quantify or qualify in the best way, but it does impact us and changes our lives as much as it changes their lives. So I'm so glad that you shared that. And what a great message to share with potential bigs out in the community, that it isn't just about them mentoring the young person. It's about the relationship and what you get in return from that.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that we hear too, is they feel like they get more than they give. It's so surprising.
Totally.
And that's part of our branding. That's part of our story that we're telling. Is it's not just about the children. It's all of us. We need each other. We all need each other. Absolutely.
And you're right. And if the last 12 months has taught us anything, among many things, it has taught us that how much we really do need each other to live, thrive, and survive in some cases. So very good point. Yeah. We have 7 minutes left. I have just one more question for you, and it actually creates the connection or really ties the work of Big Brothers Big Sisters to that of Achieve Brown County. So as I mentioned at the start of our conversation, Big Brothers Big Sisters and Achieve Brown County have partnered with each other at least for the past 5, if not 6 years. Big Brothers Big Sisters has absolutely contributed to the collective success of Achieve Brown County in all of its partners. So in the work that we do with Big Brothers Big Sisters, Achieve Brown County does with Big Brothers Big Sisters, what really stands out to you about that? What are you most excited to tell people about when you have the opportunity to talk about the relationship that our organizations have?
You know, it's interesting, Spencer, because so I've been on the board, and I've heard we all talk, and we've all got these great ideas, and we're all really passionate. We all want to do these wonderful things. We are, little by little, right? But you came and you spoke to my class at NWTC last spring, and you were on the blackboard. And I remember this, and it was so powerful because, of course, I'm on the board and I should know everything, but I don't know everything. And sometimes we forget, but when you showed the visual of all the nonprofits in the community, well, not all, but, a sampling, and then you had these arrows that pointed all over the place saying everybody's going in their own direction. So when I was talking about mentoring, like, this is still our focus and this is where we're going, like, this is our path. And what you did was I love this visual because you took them all and you turned all of the arrows in the same direction. And for me, it was such a profound visual of what Achieve Brown County does, because we still had our path, we still had our road, and we were still following it. We were still doing what we do, But to make the collective impact, what Achieve Brown County does is recognizes what all the organizations are doing and how, if we work collectively, we can make a bigger impact if we work together.
Yep.
The visual of that was like, I'll never forget it, because that's what sticks out in my mind for what Achieve Brown County does. Now, for mentoring specifically, certainly we fit under a lot of different categories for what Achieve Brown County is looking to accomplish, which is wonderful, because again, it's about community. I mean, you can't go wrong when you put people together and caring relationships, and you're looking for the best in everybody. But when we look specifically at graduation rates and how important it is for kids to graduate high school, to have a successful life and to have a successful future and have a successful career, what mentoring can do and how that's critical to their success. I love the fact that Big Brothers Big Sisters is working with Achieve Brown County to make sure that children have that opportunity to graduate, and they can do that through a mentor. And how mentors can make that impact in the community as well by saying, okay, how do I help? Well, there's this opportunity right here, and specifically this age group that we're targeting is to get them to graduate. So this middle school, high school age group, really having a focus. So it's not just about the relationship, but it's about a goal.
Yes.
And a goal, and we'll do it together, and you can do it. You have the ability, you have the capabilities to do that. So I'm really, really proud of that, because I feel like with Achieve Brown County's focus and mission, to be part of that, to be recognized as a critical agency that can help provide those supports to kids, and working with all these other nonprofits to make it happen, basically increase our impact to provide those services to more kids, and to provide that opportunity to more adults, so that we can make this collective impact together. And so not only do we help with that, but as you know, I sit on subcommittees and things like that for COVID and for kids in childcare and things like that. There's so many other opportunities for us to connect as nonprofits to say, well, how are our agencies linked? What do we need to learn from each other so that we can let our families know, we can provide those resources to them, and then find solutions, and brainstorm, what we could be doing better. So yeah, it's been phenomenal. And I think we need to continue this work, because I think if we do it together, we'll do it better.
Agreed. Really, first of all, I'm humbled by the feedback you offered me. Thank you. And I could not have articulated the power of this work that we get to do together any better than how you articulated it, Katie. And I feel like one of the other positives that has come out of the past 12 months is the fact that our connections and the ways in which we're all working together are stronger than ever. We may be doing things that we never thought we would be doing together, but the fact is we're doing them together, and they're making a difference for people in our community, not just young people, but community members across all of Greater Green Bay and Brown County. And yes, you could argue some of that is a little bit out of scope relative to our historic mission, vision, and work. But it is reflective of how Big Brothers Big Sisters, Achieve Brown County, and so many other nonprofits, schools, government agencies, businesses have all come together to help our community get through and recover from the past 12 months. So how you spoke to that and the power of that was awesome. Thank you for that.
Welcome.
We are almost at time. Is there anything else, Katie, you would like the people watching now or the recording of this to know about you, Big Brothers Big Sisters? Any plugs you want to put in for any work that you're doing?
Sign up to be a big, will ya, people? That's really what we want. Like, please come and sign up. You won't regret it. You'll love it. We've got great people. We've got great kids who, after this very, very difficult year for kids, they need somebody. And I think if you're looking for a way to get connected with an amazing network of people, of caring, like-minded, fantastic people, call us. We would love to meet you and have you be part of the program. We've, of course, got fundraisers and things like that going on, but I mean, if I could say anything, I would say just go to our website, bbbsnew.org, to learn more. Call us. We would love to talk to you.
perfect way to end this conversation. Katie, Hess, thank you so much for your time again. Really enjoyed speaking with you today and hearing more about you, your work, the great vision that you and your colleagues have for the work of Big Brothers Big Sisters today and into the future. Thank you.
My pleasure.
For those watching, thank you very much again. We'll have another one of these in the next month. Keep an eye on our Facebook feed for more information about who my next guest will be. And as always, thanks for taking an interest in our work. We appreciate your support. Have a great day, everybody.